Now, back to the big story of today, the twin bombings of a marathon in Boston.
We don't yet have all the answers, but we do know that multiple people have been wounded, some gravely, but make no mistake, any responsible individuals, any responsible groups will feel the full weight of justice.
The senseless horror of the twin bombs in Boston has all the hallmarks of terror.
People were panicking and crying, and it was really hard to know what was going on.
Coincidentally, this isn't the first time the US has suffered through tragic loss at this time of year in recent memory. April 19th, 1993, the Waco siege, 76 dead. April 19th, 1995, the Oklahoma bombing, 168 dead. April 20th, 1999, the Columbine High School massacre, 15 dead. And on April 16th, 2007, the Virginia Tech massacre, where 33 people lost their lives. Sadly, this year's Boston Marathon was run in commemoration of a more recent homegrown US tragedy, the shooting of 20 children and 6 adults at Sandy Hook Elementary School last December. Now, with 3 people dead, at least 140 injured, including 8 children, and 17 people critical, the Great Marathon has itself become another heartbreaking tragedy for the United States.
The FBI is taking the lead in this investigation. This will be a combined federal, state, and local effort. It is a criminal investigation that is a potential terrorist investigation.
Whoever is responsible, they picked a prime target to incite terror. The Great Boston Marathon is a large, spread-out public event with 500,000 spectators, world media coverage, and all incredibly difficult to control. With no word on motive or who carried out the attack, and no suspects in custody, there are still more questions than answers. But 12 years on from the most horrendous act of terrorism in modern history, has today's tragedy in Boston shown us that no matter how prepared and how secure our governments think they are, those who want to cause catastrophic harm and loss of life will find a way.
Daniel Wagner is the CEO of Country Risk Solutions, a US-based national security consultancy. Daniel, President Obama was very careful to avoid using the word terrorism when he spoke this morning, but do we have enough information yet to classify this as an act of terrorism?
Well, I believe he was careful to avoid using the word because nobody really knows exactly what this is yet. We don't have a declaration from anyone about what this is, what their objectives might be, so it's hard to call it terrorism as of yet.
Well, are there any theories to that end yet? Has anyone suggested who may be responsible?
My guess is that it's more on the domestic side for a very simple reason. The bombs used were very small. The objective in terms of sowing fear among a population was not really achieved here in a big scale because it could have gone to a shopping center or an airport if it wanted to achieve that. I think someone wanted to get good bang for their buck. It's all over the front pages, all over the world. They got that. What their objectives are, no one really knows.
Is there any concern about follow-up attacks?
There's always a concern about follow-up attacks in the United States because of a very simple reason. We're the #1 terror target in the world. And there's always someone who wants to attack us. There was a list put together by the Heritage Foundation last year of 50 attempted attacks on America that were unsuccessful. Now, all you have to do is be successful once in order to make the headlines, and that's what happened today, which means something slipped through the system, but it's pretty rare, given that more than 50 attempted events have occurred since 9/11.
Obviously, we're in the midst of a response to this attack, but is there a sense that the US has relaxed with regards to security in the dozen or so years that's passed since September 11?
Well, you could argue that we haven't really focused on security nearly as much as we need to. If you looked at the amount of soft targets in this country, if you look at the security protocol that exists, it exists to a limited extent here. But if you go to a place like the Philippines, for example, there will be a security protocol in every shopping center, virtually in every office building. We don't have that here because we haven't needed it. But it probably wouldn't take much to change that dynamic, and I think that's what concerns a lot of people.
All right, Daniel, well, we appreciate your time tonight. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
We'll be interested to see what we find out over the coming days, but for now, we're going to take a break. Back in a tick.